Is there anybody out there? Remember that Pink Floyd song? Yeah, so just another Mr. Dave kicking in his chair, having a stogie. But I did want to share with you a book that has brought me great solace and peace in my spirit and my mind. And I just want to share that with you. Um, a pretty amazing book. It's called Imagine Heaven by John Burke. And books that talks about near-death experiences. And there's been tons of studies on this stuff. And so it's scientific, it's legit. It pretty much proves there's something else after our little spacesuits, our bodies run out of gas and finally poop out. And I've read it like 8 times. I just keep reading it at night. See if I can flip the screen here. And this is the book. If you haven't heard of it or haven't seen it before, I highly recommend it. It's written from a Christian perspective. The guy who wrote it is a pastor, but it has some pretty amazing stories, real life stories from actual people who've experienced that near-death experience thing, which I'm not sure how many of you folks have heard about it out there, but it's an easy read, not too thick, not too long. I think it's from my understanding of things, it's biblical. I did have somebody tell me in a post on Facebook, I think, that it wasn't, but upon further review, I'm not sure there's any problems with it here. But it's the whole notion of another reality that transcends our physical bodies, and it's actual content and real stories of people that really did stuff and knew things they couldn't possibly have known before, because their brain was kind of turned off. The EEG is flat, the heart's not going, and it's anywhere from a few minutes to even longer periods of time. Some of the stories are just like insanely. It's hard to believe. Some of them, they're just amazing, but they're backed up by corroborating witnesses, both hospital staff and family members and others. It's written, and the stories are from people that really don't have anything to gain by telling these stories or sharing them. In fact, they have a lot to lose because they're so fantastic and so unbelievable. But if you can, life's pretty crazy right now, and it's so easy to get totally freaked out. I mean, I'm not sure which news source or where you get your news from, but there's a whole battle out there of what's true and what isn't, and it's really confusing, and it also kind of wears you out. The amount of stuff you find out there on certain news platforms, you're just thinking, can it get any dumber and stupider and more corrupt and more terrible? and then the next day you turn it on or you run across some news story, you're like, yep, can get worse. So we need hope. We need something that transcends the world we're living in that just is going crazy. And there's a lot of situations that are terrifying, really. They're shaking us to our foundation, and if we don't have a foundation that's, what is our foundation? What is your foundation? Does your security come from your bank account, your savings, your personal assets, and all that sort of thing? Even those sort of things are at risk of going away, at least from the stuff I've read and heard. So the foundation that you want to have, I think, is the one that transcends this life. And that's sort of the God thing, the spiritual side. I know people have different beliefs about stuff, but um, there's something else. And the book I've just pointed out is a book that talks about actual evidence that shows and proves there's something else. I mean, how can these people describe what doctors are doing specifically to resuscitate them, 6 or 8 year old kids, and they don't know what any of that resuscitation stuff is about, how that works. Do you shock them? Do you stick a big adrenaline needle in the heart? Do you, smash them in the chest? Us older folks, we've seen our TV shows with doctors in them, and they're doing the theatrical storylines in those TV shows where there's a doctor in the storyline or whatever. Dr. Kildare, I think, is one of the old ones. House was another one where he's a kind of a grumpy genius or whatever. But it's pretty cool to have a foundation that transcends your body in this world, and the Imagine Heaven book does that. So I'd recommend grabbing a hold of that and just read it through. If you don't believe any of this stuff, it's still a good read, and it offers up some incredible data and some amazing facts that you really got to go, wow, that's going to give me something to think about. So anyways, just wanted to throw that out here while I'm enjoying my cigar again. Once again in my chair on my hill, looking at my view, having a good time, just resting after the day. So hope you guys out there doing well. If you're having a hard time, if life starts to feel hopeless, please hang in there. Bible says we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And that's true. In fact, we're not supposed to run this road called our lives all by ourselves. There's burdens we're not supposed to carry, they're too big. And life is incredibly tough sometimes, as I've mentioned before on my little ramblings, my little YouTube live ramblings. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there. Get the book, Imagine Heaven by John Burke. Read it through. It will give you something to think about. So God bless you guys. Hope you're having a good day. Just wanted to throw that out here real quick. So if you ever have any questions, just send me a message on YouTube or a comment or something. I'll see whatever I can do to help give you some feedbacks and thoughts from an old craftsman who worked with his hands his whole life to make a living and hated school. So yeah, school sucked. But I was kind of an Aspergery kid. Had trouble with socialization. Didn't know how to do that. Always ended up saying the wrong thing. It was a dumb thing or whatever it was, and got picked on and bullied. Yeah, because I was a tall, skinny kid, 6'5", and I was 17, 18 years old, and man, it was tricky. So I kind of slid into the shadows and became a stoner, a little pot smoker, and a little guy who's sitting there throwing on his potter's wheel. I was one of my first things was doing pottery and ceramics, because that's the creative stuff, and that's what resonated with my spirit and kind of was a salvation in a way, before the ultimate salvation, as it were. So anyways, hope you're having a good day, and get the book and let me know what you think. All right, have a good one, you guys. We'll see you next time, maybe on the rock pile. All right, take it easy. Bye.